One of the most powerful moments from the life of the Prophet ﷺ that the Quran speaks about is Ghazwatul Ahzab, Ghazwatul Khandaq, the battle of the trench, the battle against the allied armies, when all the different nations of that time, all the powers that be, had gathered together and collaborated with one another to wipe Islam out, to wipe the Muslims out of existence, and to raze Medina to the ground. And they amassed all their forces and they marched on Medina. And this was one of the largest armies that Arabia, the Arabian Peninsula, Hijaz, had seen in a lifetime. And they marched right up to the gates of Medina. The Muslims dug a trench and fortified themselves and spent 25 days guarding that trench. And they got to the point of starvation. They ran out of food. They started to run out of water. It was one of the coldest, most bitter winters that that region had ever seen. They didn't have enough garments and clothes to cover themselves properly. And right when it felt like people were about to break, the Sahaba came to the Prophet ﷺ and they lifted their shirts up. And each one had a stone tied to his stomach to try to suppress the pangs of hunger. The Prophet ﷺ lifted his shirt up, and the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, had 2 stones tied to his stomach. It was such a difficult situation. And as I said, just when they were maybe almost to the breaking point, the Prophet ﷺ went and he made dua at a place called Masjid al-Fath. The location is still present there till today in Medina. And the Prophet ﷺ raised his hands up to the sky and made dua to Allah. Ya Sarikh al-Makrubin. Oh, the one who hears the call of those who are struggling. Ya Mujib al-Muttarrin. And the one who answers the prayer of those who are suffering. Ikshif hammi wa ghammi wa karbi. Oh Allah, remove this worry, this concern, and this difficulty that we are facing. فَقَدْ تَرَى حَالِي وَحَالَ أَصْحَابِي. Oh Allah, you know best my condition and the condition of my companions. The angel Jibreel alayhi salam was sent to the Prophet ﷺ to say, إِنَّ اللَّهَ قَدْ سَمِعَ قَوْلَكَ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has heard your prayer, your dua, wa da'watak. And He will deal with your enemy for you. The Prophet ﷺ, he fell down on his knees. He raised his arms up to the sky. He lowered his head out of humility. And he said, Shukran, shukran. Thank you, my Lord. Thank you. I am grateful to you, my Lord. Kama rahimtani wa rahimta ashabi. For how you have had mercy upon me and mercy upon my companions. And then Jibreel alayhi salam told him that Allah will send this terrible wind that will dismantle them. And that very night, they were attacked by a tornado that was just tossing everything up into the sky, ripping their camp apart. And the narration even says that that tornado, swirling winds, it started to pick up the pellets and the pebbles rather, and stones from the ground, and started pelting them with it until they all ran and dispersed. And the victory was for the Prophet ﷺ and the Muslims. We have to always believe that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will come to our aid. Allah will come to the aid of our brothers and sisters. We just have to continue to do our part. Keep talking about it. Keep donating and contributing. And keep praying and making dua. Keep going back to the Quran and the life of the Prophet ﷺ to find strength, comfort, guidance, and the energy and the enthusiasm that we need in order to keep working and keep praying. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala alleviate the suffering and remove the oppression from our brothers and sisters all around the world, especially in Gaza and Palestine. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have mercy upon the ummah of the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Ameen ya Rabbil Alameen. Jazakumullahu khairan. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.